apparently we're doing something. I wanted to use this shade right here from the palette. And I'm just using a fluffy brush, not too fluffy. Think MAC 217. And we're just gonna put that, it's time for some red eyeshadow. Right here she is. This is the BH Cosmetics Naughty palette. Are you guys ready? We've already used this, we loved it, but let's use it again. We're gonna start with the white base because we want the red to come through as true as possible. So this white base is really just gonna pick up the perfect shade of red, and it's gonna be the exact same color that it is in the pan. So apparently we're doing something. I wanted to use this shade right here from the palette. And I'm just using a fluffy brush, not too fluffy. Think MAC 217. And we're just gonna put that on one side of the brush. I'm not gonna worry about my lid. Getting this color on there, we'll come back and clean that up later. But for right now, I just want this to be packed in my crease. So take your time, press it in there. And if you have hooded lids, this shape of brush, just look for a really small one. You could even use a pencil brush. This is a prototype where I tell you. But just look for a pencil brush to fit through here. Now I could have done this with my brush that I was using, but a lot of times I get my sweet hooded eye friends on here going, I can't use that brush. What do I do? It just gets messy. So look for a pencil brush, anything. Just think very tiny, but you're also going to continue to press through here as well. This is a very good way to wear red. I know red can be very intimidating, but a really bright red lid with a nice toned down brown crease. Perfection. Okay, let's start transforming this because I'm scaring myself. So now we're going to grab these two shades together. And we'll just start to tap this above our first crease color. Notice that I'm using the side of the brush. Really take your time and press it in there. I want to transition this up pretty high. So I'm just going to continue to tap. And even as I'm tapping, I'm blending that first crease color up, even though it feels like we're not doing anything, it is transitioning. So there's actually not a bone colored shadow in my palette that I'm using. So I'm just going to grab one from another. I'm sure most of us have this. I'm using the side of the brush and I'm just going to tap this mainly on the highest point of my brow bone. And then from here, whatever's left, I'll just kind of tap over this way. And I'll tap this way till it looks like this one. Now we're going to grab a whisper of hot cocoa here. We're taking that small brush and I want to shape my eye a little bit different. So I'm going to start here. We want this to be very subtle. I can drag the brush as well now. Remember, right through here is set. So if we want to just kind of sketch it out, we can. I do recommend doing this in the mirror and not your phone like I am doing. We're just taking it a little bit above. Okay, we got that placement. So you can see how it looks when I look straight on. You can see that it's not in my natural crease. That would completely hide. So we had to bring it out. And I'm just kind of bringing it over this way. I'm going to connect this later, but for right now we want to do that. I'm going to wipe my brush off on Sheila. She is here. She is very extra dirty. She's actually getting a bath tonight. Picking up that very first shade, Yuletide, and I'm just going to lightly tap right on top of the dark color. I want to clean up just a little bit. Sometimes this happens, you get a little messy on your lid. Just grab some micellar water, and this is just my little rag that I wash. This one doesn't have a name, she's new. So all we'll do is just kind of clean up in here. That way we can kind of carve this back out in just a second with the white base. I'm just kind of going underneath here. A lot of times people do this with makeup wipes, so you could use a makeup wipe, but I like to just use things that I can rewash. Now we've kind of done all the hard work with the micellar water. We're going to grab the clean canvas once again, and we're just going to bring it through here. We don't have to be as precise now. Also, since we're using a red and we're not using a bone color, you don't have to be as precise because red is still going to have a lot of depth to it and it's going to be a darker color. So you don't have to worry about bringing it through here and it being just that perfect cut crease. So red's a good color. I think one of the biggest things that haunted me when I first started doing cut creases is I thought it was supposed to be pretty the entire time. Let me tell you, a cut crease is not cute until you are reaching the final steps of your makeup process. Until you're done, it's gonna look so scary and not make any sense. But I am grabbing a little bit of the red, and I'm gonna start to tie this into my crease color here. So I'm grabbing it on that little shader. Let me zoom you guys in. I'm just gonna tap it right above, just so it kind of ties in. Again, this is a really good way to use red. Perfect. I'm just lightly tapping. I don't think we were ready. Oh my god, it's so pigmented. I'm grabbing a MAC 242S and I'm picking up the shade here, Rudolph. And I'm just gonna start by tapping this right here. Look at this, and it just keeps going. It keeps going and going. Ugh. So flippin' fun. Who knew? I know it still looks scary. I promise we're gonna get somewhere. So we're gonna go ahead and continue to tap it this way. Please don't ever get mad at fallout. Fallout is a technique. It really doesn't reflect the quality of the product. When you're pressing and packing on color, you're going to have fallout, but that just means that you're really getting the true color payoff. So what I'm doing now is just continuing to press it this way, and I'm gonna stop about here, right here, because we're gonna do a wing liner and it's gonna cover all this up. Again, micellar water here, and I'm just kind of sweeping. I'm still not gonna go through here because we have to do our liner. Just wanted to clean up our under eye a little bit. So let's wear red eyeshadow every single day. Look at this, and then we just added some gold. We're too spicy. So I'm gonna grab one of my favorite gel liners. This is from Pretty Vulgar, and this angle brush here from Maven Beauty. And we're just gonna go to town. I feel like I've already talked a lot. I don't wanna run out of slides. We'll talk more about wing liner at some point. I feel like I always pick something and talk about it for that day. Today we're really just talking about cut creases. So we're going to take it and connect it. Don't worry about that. We can wipe that away. The next thing I did is I grabbed this glitter adhesive from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I just put, see how it has this little applicator? Just drop a little drop on the back of your hand. I grabbed my little prototype angle brush here, and then I'm just going to pull it along here. Okay, so now we're going to grab this shade called Jingle Bells, because we got to have some gold glitter in here. It's just a big old ball of holiday. And then I just kind of tap that right on top. And I layered it until we got this over here. I'm gonna grab my Mario pencil. We're gonna do top and bottom. I'm gonna tight line again today. So we're just gonna bring this across our waterline. I can't really finish tight lining till we get our foundation on, but we just wanna run that across for now. Okay, so I threw on my lashes. I normally go into detail, but again, I know I'm gonna run out of slides. But these are the House of Lashes Patrick Ta in It's a Look. I think these are my absolute favorite. The lash band is so tiny. So I went super luminous skin, so I'm actually just gonna skip primer, and I'm gonna use this as my primer. This is the Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewdrops. I'm gonna do one pump of that here on my angled care brush from Anissa Beauty. And I'm just gonna hit the high points of my face, underneath my eye. I'm just going to avoid the center of my face. I want my skin to be incredibly glowy and fresh, so I'm going to grab my Makeup Forever Reboot Foundation. You guys have seen this a billion times. I think it's my favorite. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to put it out there. And I'm just going to press this in with my Anissa Pinnacle Foundation brush. No matter how much I pile on, it just always looks so fresh. I just love it. It's so good. A bit of color correcting. This is my Kylie concealer in the shade Himalaya. As you can see, it's just very peachy. I actually want to wear a very small amount of concealer with this look. I don't want it to be full coverage. So if I color correct just a little bit, I'm going to be able to get away with wearing. You can see that it really just canceled that out. So always remember, I feel like color correctors, sometimes people think, wow, I don't need a color corrector. It's going to be so heavy. If you use the smallest amount, you're going to use less concealer. So now I'll grab Kylie concealer in the shade Stone, and we'll just put a little bit of that just to brighten. I'm just going to tap this in with my Anissa Angle Concealer Brush. Just a little bit, just enough to brighten. So I didn't want to add too much warmth to my face, so I grabbed this bronzer stick here from Kylie Cosmetics. It's in the shade Act Natural. And we'll just do a little bit of this. My brush is a little prototype. Just everybody stay tuned. And we're just going to melt this in. I didn't want it to be too warm and too bronzy and compete with all this red we got going on. Okay, so I want to powder my face, but I only want to powder it in certain areas anymore, and we're going to get more coverage. And we're going to lose that really fresh skin. So I really want to set underneath my eyes, of course. I'm using my one size powder today. So just kind of take your time, press that back and forth. I'm going to avoid any kind of powder here along my cheekbone. And I'm just going to press it kind of through the center, the nose, and of course the forehead. So I'm just going to take a little bit of red here, the same red that we used, Rudolph. I'm just kind of tapping this in here, making sure that the concealer didn't cover it. Okay. Okay. Wipe your brush off. Tap and feather the edges. And now we're going to grab this shade from the palette. It's a nice champagne. White might be a little too harsh, so I think a champagne would be nice. It'll kind of tie into the gold. And just on the very outer edges, just tap that. And you can see that it just starts to blend and brighten. Take your time and just press that in. Now I'm grabbing my Mario eyeliner, the liquid liner, and we'll just do some tight lining. Really what we're just trying to do is connect our waterline to our lash line with the thinnest strip of eyeliner. That's all tight lining is. It's just really having control and just bringing it right out of the lash line. So for my lips, I just want to keep them as neutral as possible, but just a little bit of color. So I'm going to grab this Sorbet lip liner. This is in the shade Earth. Don't forget code ROSE for a discount. We're just going to do a rough outline. Just add a little definition. So I'm trying to keep this a little bit fresh, a little bit more modern. We're actually going to skip blush, and we're also going to skip highlighter. I feel like these eyeballs, they're enough. So now I'm going to grab this Kylie gloss. This is in the shade, this is from the Grinch collection. Ugh. Sweet Like Candy Cane. Such a pretty shade. Perfect. Dare I say, this is a new favorite. She's spicy. Literally spicy. Yeah, I like not wearing blush. I feel like this is fun just for this look. Now we love blush, level 10 rash, but for this one I just feel like it didn't need it. I love the tone of the lipstick. This is good. This is good stuff. So I saw that Katie Jane Hughes, she does this incredible thing where when she does a look, she has her supporters recreate those looks. So if you guys want to do something like that, and I'll post you in a slide, what do you guys think? Is that something I would want to do? The only reason I get afraid is because I won't be able to pick all of you, and that's why I haven't done this before, and I don't want you guys to be upset with me. So if you guys recreate this look, tag me, and I'll post my picture along with all of your slides.